Thank you, dear viewers, who are staying with us here in the Breakfast Show. Time now for our first topic here in the program, as we will tackle preparations for the new school year and the role of families to help and guide their children. And to shed more light on the topic, we have the great pleasure of being joined here in the studio by Dr. Maha Mahgoub, Senior Advisor for United Nations Organizations. Dr. Maha, very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning.
So the new school year is just ahead, maybe 10 days or so or less. What's your advice for families to get their youngsters ready?
Yeah. Good morning. Actually, it would be a very fruitful year rather than the last year. It was a very difficult year, especially that the Ministry of Education enforced students to have attendance, not just online education. So families should prepare their students to face or to join the new year actively and prospect attendance and so on. So they have to, at the beginning, they have to plan and organize the time of sleeping, because during the summer holiday, so they don't have a fixed hours, or maybe they are changing the time of sleeping. So they, at the beginning, so we have almost 10 days to start the new year. So they have to
gradually fix their sleep time.
Yes, just to know what about the most needed equipment to start the new year, just dressing codes, the bags, tools, just to monitor and check the old tools. If it's fit the new year, it's okay, they can keep it, then they can complete it with the new ones. How to prepare the students themselves to begin the new year, especially they did not hold a complete responsibility during the last year because of coronavirus. So they have to set goals for students. What should they do? What they have to hold a good responsibility, and they have to achieve their goals and to pass the new year properly.
Yeah. It's been a long vacation.
Yes, of course.
And as you mentioned, Dr. Maha, many kids, melanged or mixed up their sleep time. And some of the children, many of the children who got used to the distance learning or the e-learning are now saying, "Oh, we don't want to go back now to school. We're happy with the e-learning because they do it from home." So, I mean, a big barrier here that the families have to trespass, right?
Yes, it's just that this is a transformation, especially more than 1 year. They stayed at home. They didn't hold any responsibility with direct education. So they have to accept and willing to join the school and direct education, do their best. And what about the lesson learned from the last year? So technology, it might be good and it might be bad for students, especially nowadays the educational system here in Egypt. They are transforming the educational system to be depend more on technology and the tablet and so on. So how to get benefit from using these technologies, online learning, how to merge the technology with the official educational system with schools. We have to upgrade our system in order to get benefit the most outcomes of education and knowledge, information, and everything.
Of course, we're not sure of what's going to happen because we don't know the developments of the coronavirus pandemic and how things are going to go. But the government here always puts the children's safety, the children's health as a top priority. We have seen, Dr. Maha, the mandatory vaccination of the educational staff. And we are seeing now a big campaign to vaccinate the population at large. How do you see these efforts by the Health Ministry and the Education Ministry and other ministries concerned?
I think it's a good step from the government and the Ministry of Education just to enforce teachers to get vaccination, because maybe they could be a source of transferring the infection to students, and as well I've known recently that the government as well enforced all governmental staff,
Yeah.
yes, to get the vaccine unless that they have to present the PCR test
Right.
each 3 days. So it's a good step from the government and Ministry of Education just to protect their students and the whole population, just to get the vaccination, just to eliminate the infection ratio all
Yeah.
over Egypt, and they cannot become a harmful effect on students.
Right. And the reason I mentioned this when I said we don't know how it's going to go, because if things I mean, if the coronavirus goes, you know, to higher rates, we are sure, because we have seen that the government puts the children's safety and health as a top priority, then we are going to again go back to some campus attendance for students and online, and maybe a lot of online. So I want to ask you about what we have learned from last year. How did you assess the performance of the teaching staff in dealing with the new, relatively new here in Egypt, e-learning or distance learning, and the students themselves?
Yeah, actually there are lessons learned from the past period. At the beginning of the pandemic, the whole world just locked down, but they did not eliminate the infection. So later, maybe the lockdown just opened gradually, but most of the countries all over the world, they are going to open their country education, everything, just they are going to treat coronavirus as a normal flu. Especially there are transformations. The virus itself is changing from time to time. So I'm not expecting another lockdown, because most of population and most of people, they got the vaccination. The virus itself it's changeable, so maybe we have some treatments for the virus. And of course it depends on the immunity system of the human being itself. Someone, they can be affected, other people cannot be affected. I think most of Egyptian people just got corona. Maybe they thought that it was a normal flu and they did not recognize that it was coronavirus. But I'm not thinking that, or I don't think that the government will lock down the schools again. Especially they are going to give vaccination to teachers. Yes.
Yeah. So the advantages, Dr. Maha, and the disadvantages of e-learning. I know it's a big question, but I want the Egyptian case, the Egyptian model. Again, what was for you positive last year and negative when it came to e-learning?
Yeah, actually the e-learning was going to be existed in the coming years, yes, but coronavirus just enforced it, speeded the using e-learning system and technology. Of course, most of universities, they have LMS system, educational system, and so on. It has, of course, pros and cons for students and teachers as well. The most barriers for using e-learning technologies for students and for teachers, the infrastructure of the internet, if it's weak in some places, so they cannot conduct e-learning. Maybe some people, they are not qualified to use information technology tools such as tablets or computers, so maybe there are distortions between just to reconnect or to be aligned with each other. Maybe the concentration of students, so that they are not fully concentrated within the lesson. Maybe they can play or not concentrated, or maybe they shut down the screen and then sleep or play or do something like this. But the good thing that is just this is a recorded message, lesson for students, so they can retrieve the lesson anytime, anywhere. So even in direct education, so if they lost a certain knowledge or information, so they cannot retrieve it. But in e-learning, so they can revise again the lessons and learn more about the topic, so they cannot lose anything from the e-learning system.
Yeah, that's true. But you know, Dr. Maha, many students, I guess, and we've seen similar researches even in the US, many students would depend on the recorded, sessions. And this is why they don't give full concentration, or maybe
Yes.
don't attend the main session. But then even they don't even go back to the recorded session. They put it as a fallback position, and they tell their parents, okay, we have a recorded session. So the parents say, okay, fine, you're fine. But they don't even go back to the recorded
Yeah.
session. So, I mean, the
Yes.
discipline,
Yes.
it's, how can we enforce as families?
Yes.
Enforce discipline, and at the same time not to be so aggressive or so tough, so that we don't lose
Yes.
out this
This
generation.
is this is the role of families, and especially for mother, if she's not a working mother, she has to monitor and just watch her children, if they are attending properly or not, if they got the point, if they did not get any point, so they can revise this information or this lesson with them. Of course, mothers, they can do a huge effort with their students, so when they attend together or maybe monitor their students while they are getting the online session, so maybe they can revise, or maybe they can ask their students, okay, I'm going to ask you about today's lesson, just to check if they got the lesson or not, or they were concentrating with the lesson or not.
And then go with the reward punishment.
Yes, it's better just to give, yes,
Yeah.
a reward, not punishment. And just at the beginning of the educational year, we have to divide the playing hours and studying hours, and based on rewarding, just to check what do they like, and then they can reward the students if they can stay and study properly, so they can get a reward, nor not a punishment if they don't study.
Indeed, time management is key, is always key in any field, and especially in the academic field. Now, Dr. Maha, I want to ask you about maybe older children, maybe teenagers now, and those in high school, and the issue of enhancing skills and developing skills. Do you see that in our educational system we are moving towards attempting to enhance the skills and focus on that, and try to get, everybody is talented at something or in something. So is the issue of development of skills taking enough care of by our educational system?
Continuous self-development should be existed even from kids till graduation from universities, but we have to recognize how to develop the skills of students, how to explore their talents, how to develop these talents, and then to direct their career based on their talents. Maybe they might become something in the future. For example, we have an international football player, Mohamed Salah. He was brilliant. Just he used to attend his sessions and exercise gradually, and he gave the sessions a great attention. Now he is an international kid.
He's a role model.
Role model, of course. So here the role of family is just to explore the skills and talents of their students and their children, and then just how to adapt or align these skills into the future needs of the market, labor market as well. Because as we mentioned that there are the artificial intelligence, which depends on robotics and system. So a lot of jobs will be vanished. Maybe 65% of jobs will be vanished to be replaced.
65%.
Yes. In all fields. For example,
that's a big number. That's a scary number.
Yes,
yeah.
this is actually
the world is changing.
Yes, it's changing, and already it's changing. For example, journalists, Bloomberg now, they laid off a lot of journalists. They are replacing with the system just for editing. It's more faster and accurate than journalists.
And less costly.
Yes, medical field, a lot of robots, they can do operations more effectively than normal doctors.
And it's safer.
It's safer.
Yeah. For the doctors
Yes,
themselves,
lawyer,
or the nurses.
now you can have advice from online instead going to a lawyer just to get advice. Driving. So maybe now in Europe, they are depending on automatic drivers, not on a driver. So a lot of drivers they are not going to find a good job for them. So a lot of jobs will be vanished to be replaced with other jobs. What about the most other jobs such as sales and marketing? It will be needed in the future. Some jobs related to information technology, data analysis, and actually here the government just recognized this and established new technological universities to be qualified and to meet the needs of the future jobs. Therefore, the families here, they have to adapt or teach or to be aligned with the future needs of job
The families
requirements.
and the teachers.
And the teacher.
And the academic staff
yes,
at large. Yes,
but the guidance. I'm talking
Yeah.
about the guidance, how to guide
Yes.
our students just to find a future good job. Teachers, they are applying or implementing the educational
policies.
syllabus. They cannot invent something new.
Yeah.
But here, the
But we
role,
would want to see more from them, right? As
course.
guides as well. And
yes, by monitoring, evaluation, guidance, counseling, and so on. It's very important for students on all levels.
because many of the kids sometimes they trust if they love their teacher
Yes.
and respect him or her, they are more influencing or
Yes.
at least as influencing as the parents.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you're right.
Dr. Maha, on behalf of our dear viewers, we'd like to thank you very much.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. It's been a great
Thank you.
pleasure, and we hope to see you again. Dr. Maha Mahgoub, Senior Advisor at the United Nations organizations here in Egypt. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dear viewers, please stay with us. My dear colleague Karim Gamaluddin will resume this episode of The Breakfast Show on the second topic momentarily. Don't go away.